Welcome to video 2 of Darcy's diary. Um, yeah, I'd like to just say, obviously, I'm going to do these videos as sort of, hopefully I can help some people out there who've either got babies or with trisomy 13 or diagnosed pre-birth with trisomy 13. But it's not just for that, it's also Darcy's own diary, so for anyone wanting to follow her story as well. So that's another reason I'm breaking these videos down into shorter, smaller chunks. This one I want to talk about the Darcy's birth and what that was like for us, because it was quite a traumatic experience, really. Um, well, I don't really know where to start, to be honest. We were, because last time I spoke about the um, pregnancy and the scans, um, which were quite frequent. There was a lot of scans, and then we had to go. I can't remember what it's called. It was a specialist-led unit, basically, instead of the normal labour ward, and we had to go there. And we had lots of waiting and lots of waiting, and Rebecca was induced, and everything was fine. I mean, she was sitting there. We ordered a takeaway. We had food. We were just waiting, and normal expectant parents. Um, and then once Rebecca's waters were broken, that's when things started drastically just going downhill really fast. Um, so her waters were broken, and then as the contractions came and came, eventually there was what they called cord presentation, and the umbilical cord had come down because of the extra water. The I can't remember the correct terminology for it, it's hydro something, um, but carrying extra amniotic fluid. The cord came down next to Darcy's head, so every time Beck was pushing, or trying to push, or there was a contraction, it was squashing the cord against Darcy's head. So it essentially was shutting off her oxygen supply and everything, and obviously that could not carry on, because that could cause all sorts of additional problems, obviously. Um, so her, her heart was being monitored, and every time there was a contraction, her heart rate started to drop, and it got to a point where our brilliant midwife, who was with us at the time, she sort of had to try and hold Darcy up, like, you're not coming out yet, you can't come out this way. And that was it. It was like, right, she's going to have an emergency cesarean. And we got taken in there, and we were still like, oh my god, what's going on? Heart rate was up and down, and everything was just mad. And then we got taken into this theatre, and it was just, everything was so quick. There was a bit of an argument there between our midwife and the anaesthetist, who he just came across as high and mighty, um, which it wasn't really the time, but he'd got a bit annoyed about being paged or something, like at an inappropriate time. Maybe it should have been earlier, I don't know. But yeah, there was all that going on with our own sort of stresses, and like, so that just escalated everything a bit more. And then suddenly everyone was like, oh my god, we gotta get this baby out, heartbeats gone, all this stuff. It's like, wow. And everything was just like sudden rush, and they put this little wall up, and sort of tilted, and then there's this car, and then like, I could just see on the floor some blood, like, I was like, wow. And then they pulled Darcy out, and went over. I went over because obviously Rebecca's, couldn't move or couldn't do anything, and yeah, that's when the Trisomy 13 part started. Even though there wasn't an official diagnosis, no one mentioned it. Well, it was mentioned, but not about Darcy. But I'll get to that in a later video. Yeah, they were like, "Don't worry." Like, oh look, she's got some extra digits. Oh, a little hole in her cleft and that. That's nothing to worry about. It's fine. All that, and we're like, "Oh, okay." And then they gave it to me, and I stood there, and I was like, still in shock, like, what the hell has just happened? And I sort of looked down at her, and saw her ear was missing, or hadn't formed, and I was like, started freaking out. I was like, oh my god, what's wrong? And I had to step out for a minute, and that was it really. They whisked her away to the neonatal intensive care unit, and took Rebecca to the recovery, and we didn't see Darcy for a good few hours maybe. There's one I wanted to stay with Rebecca, but yeah, because they didn't, no one had no, or maybe I don't know if they had no idea of what she had by then. Because I mean, I done my research on Google and the various websites and that, and I put two and two together and was like, this is starting to look a lot like this Trisomy 13 thing. We had someone come and see us about the cleft, and she said, this was like a couple of days later, and she said, she's like, no, don't worry, because I said, oh my god, it could be this, it looks like this, I don't know, because we're talking about syndromes and that, and she's like, don't worry, it's not that, because that's totally incompatible with life, so it can't be that, it wouldn't be that. And I was like, okay. And then yeah, we spent the next 2 weeks in NICU and SCBU, which is the special care baby unit as well. Just wondering, what's going on, waiting for like genetic testing and everything to be done. She was born, when she was born, she had hypoglycemia, so she needed some help with that. And she just had wires everywhere. Like she had a little bit of oxygen. It wasn't much though. It wasn't really needed. And just all these monitoring things and these damn machines that keep making these noises. Like one of them's does the SATs, which is like the oxygen levels in the blood, I think it is. But yeah, there's a SATs alarm, and if it drops a little bit, it starts going off, and in the end, it starts like proper driving you mad. It's like, oh my god, this machine. But yeah, it was a challenging time, I think, being in the hospital, being around that, and since then, I've learnt I speak to other parents, and I've learnt of some of them being in hospital for months and months, and it's like, wow, 2 weeks was a long, hard time, stressful time. Like I got to go, and in the end Rebecca did, we got to go back and forth from the hospital, but I couldn't stay in there and sit there for that whole time. It's just so stressful, I think, especially when you don't know what's wrong with your child. And yeah, so we waited, what did we wait, 2 weeks, and in the end we got the test through, and they kind of, this is where it started having rooms full of people talking to us about things, and this particular time it was, the genetic testing had come back, and they sat us down in a room. Oh, your baby's got Trisomy 13. And we're like, what? Total, like, we heard it's incompatible with life. How can this be? She's 2 weeks old. And it was just bizarre. That's when it started getting bizarre, because it felt weird. Like, from then onwards, it was like the next day, right, well, we'll discharge her. You don't have to get her immunisations done, don't worry about that. Didn't fill in a red book or nothing. Obviously, part of that was wanting to get her home with us and how we wanted her to be home, but it was still a strange scenario that we hadn't experienced before. It was almost like, here's your baby, she's not going to last long, bye. And it was a bit, we were put onto Keach Hospice then, who were brilliant, and they've you know, thankfully we haven't needed them, but they've been there for us if we do need them. They're there, and they've been brilliant. You know, they even came round and dropped a little Christmas present off for Darcy, all wrapped up, a little teddy bear. But yeah, they deal with a lot of pretty ill, really ill children, or children with special needs, and it highlighted how rare Trisomy 13 is, because Darcy was the first one they'd seen in 10 years, and the paediatric team, well, the person leading it at the hospital as well, I think he said he hadn't dealt with Trisomy 13, so it's quite something. But yeah, that's I don't want to go on too much in this video, because obviously I want to keep these short, but that's kind of how we were treated at that point. It was very doom and gloom, and very just hearing those words, incompatible with life, before was quite something to hear. But yeah, this is how our Trisomy 13 journey started, really. 2 weeks in the hospital, genetic testing. Luckily, she hadn't been born as bad as some children are born, and we still had her at 2 weeks, because a lot of parents don't even get that, and we had no idea, so we could have lost her and still been wondering after that what happened there. And not it's sometimes, I suppose, it's beneficial finding out before birth, because you get it into your head that the time's more special, because you don't really realise that, I don't think, until you're thrown into one of these situations. But also in this scenario, it's quite beneficial to the baby to not know before birth, because it seems like, from what I've learned, if they know before birth, then they go straight to palliative care rather than doing everything they would for a baby that's been born with no issues. So yeah, I mean, that's all I'm going to really touch on in this video, but on the next one I think I want to talk about the other things, like the NG tube, for example, and how important that is, and what we've learned from that so far. I mean, we left the hospital with no real guidance on it, apart from the basics. This is how you put milk in, this is how you keep it clean, that sort of thing. I don't think we left with them, I don't think they had the mindset that it would ever need to be changed, because they put a 3-month one in, and they, it's very doom and gloom about the whole scenario at the time. But yeah, I'll talk more on what we've learnt and what we do NG tube wise and feeding wise. But yeah, this is video 2, and I will come back and do a video 3. Hopefully Darcy will be awake. She was awake quite a bit today, and she's just nodded off, like, just before we started recording. She's out for the count at the moment. I'm hoping that I won't do a whole channel about Darcy with Darcy sleeping. This is one thing I have noticed with these babies. I don't know if it's common with all of them, but Darcy sleeps a lot. She loves sleeping. and she loves partying at night, maybe about 5 o'clock in the morning. Um, yeah, she loves night parties. So, but anyway, I'm gonna leave that one there because that must be, how long's that?
15 minutes.
15 minutes. That's already quite a while. Yeah, just let me know what you think of the video so far if you can. And anything that you guys want to know as well. Is there anything you want to know about, you know, Darcy or what we've learned so far about Trisomy 13 in general? I mean, a lot of us parents can help each other and do help each other, and I think that's important as well because you start to go into a bit of an area that's there's not a lot of information for the longer living babies, or Trisomy 13 in general. But yeah, I hope you like it. Like, share, whatever you want to do. And yeah, hopefully see you for the next video, which, as I said, I'm going to cover NG tubes and talk about these, because they're a lot more important than people think. It's not just food. They can actually cause quite a bit of a problem if they aren't dealt with right. So yeah, till next time.